Like and subscribe. Pretty please. What's the dumbest thing you've ever been afraid of as a child? The shark in the pool. The shark in my pool was going to come out of the light in the deep end. That's where pool sharks live. Was also very afraid of the pool light, but never associated it with sharks. I'm not sure what I thought was going to happen, but it was going to be bad. I was afraid Chucky would crawl up from the toilet while I was pooping and stab me in the butt. I have no idea why I thought this would happen. Also doorway gremlins. Legit was afraid I would walk through a door and there would be gremlin monsters on the other side at the top, waiting to pounce on me and kill me. Again, no idea why I thought this would happen. When I was a kid, I had recurring nightmares about Chucky until one time in my dream, I may have been lucid dreaming and I killed him in much the same way he dies in the first movie. Never had the nightmare again. The man at the bottom of the stairs. I've never seen his spooky ass, but I know he chases me up every time. That sumbitch has been chasing me up the stairs for 35 years. Flushing the toilet at night, it seemed so loud and would literally freak me out. Flushing the toilet at all for me, I used to press the button and run. I still do this in airplanes. At 5, I was afraid that if people talked shit about the wind, it would send a tornado to kill them. One time my dad said, "Damn, it's so windy," and I was like, "Dad, no. Why am I laughing so much?" The vacuum cleaner. The time before I was old enough to realize I was too large to be sucked down the bathtub drain. Me too. I hated the noise it made with the last dregs of water going down. I'd have to run out the room before it got there. My parents told me it was the Urgle Gurgle man. Sound freaked me the F out. God hearing me swearing. Sometimes I would hide in the closet from God and just chanted for a while all the bad words I had learned from the older kids. God can't hear inside the closet. Shots/vaccinations. I was convinced that my veins were already full of blood and injecting any more liquid into them would cause them to explode. I wonder how easy it would be to convince an anti-vaxxer that this was true. I was very anxious about eating soup. I thought we had a stomach-like compartment for solids and a separate one for liquids. The solids were processed by the body and became poop. The liquids were processed and became urine. Two complete systems independent of each other. If food or drink went where it wasn't meant to go, the person would cough and splutter to give the body a chance to move it to the appropriate receptacle, hence the concerned parent saying, "Oops, wrong hole, you okay?" Someone told me it was unhealthy to have a drink with your meal, when in fact the opposite is true, reinforcing the separate systems idea in my mind. So where did soup go? The chunky kind. And what about stews? Gravy? Ice cream? The more I thought about it, the more anxious I became. Balloons. Specifically, balloons popping. When I was really young, my dad popped one near my face as a joke, but it really traumatized me. I hated going to birthday parties because there were always games where you had to pop a balloon in some form. I eventually grew out of it, but even now at 32, I still feel a bit uneasy when I hear that sound. Me too. I remember going to a party and crying because they had the pop a balloon game, and I didn't want to. I was okay with other kids popping thits so long as it wasn't too close to me, but no way I was going to pop one. In the end, the mother of the party gently snipped the neck of mine, so it deflated slowly. I used to have a recurring nightmare about a vampire parrot that we kept as a pet for some reason. In my dream, it was a family pet and we just kept him in a cage, hanging from the ceiling in the hall. It was just a regular looking parrot, totally unassuming. My family believed it was just a cute, feathery, colorful critter, but nobody else realized it would feed on me when they couldn't see it. It would steal my blood when I cried to my parents. They refused to believe me. Nobody believed me. Here's the thing. It didn't bite me to drain my blood. It hooked me up to an IV and drained my blood directly into its little bird body. I don't actually know how it managed to do this. There would be some twist of dream logic, and suddenly it was just happening. In the dream, I would be sitting in a chair, IV attached, blood draining into the evil bird. My parents might even be standing right there. I would cry and cry because he's taking too much of my blood, mommy. He's going to kill me. It was all happening right in front of them, but they would just tell me to stop making things up. It's like they couldn't see the dark transfer unfolding right in front of them, and the bird knew. I never actually had a parrot as a pet. He only existed in my dreams, but he popped in to have his feast every week or so for a significant period of my 3-year-old life. You know the sound a dove and pigeon makes? I used to think they were ghosts. I thought my parents were lying to me about it being birds. I would run back into the house if I heard one sing. My grandmother once told me that mourning doves will only coo to people who are about to die. She learned that some tall tales are not appropriate for kids after the existential panic attack 2 weeks later. So, when I was kid, I was absolutely sure I put this green pea snap on a table and saw it crawling. I refused to eat it, thinking it was a bag of bugs pretending to be dead, so you would be tricked to eat it. Yes, 4-year-old me was dumb. It was when I was in my teens that I found out my old nanny brought me to her boyfriend's place when my parents were out, and while they would do it next door, they would give some kind of medicine to knock me out. Apparently, I picked up a pea cracker in the midst of passing out and hallucinated about it. It was also why my nanny got fired not long after. What the fuck? What the fuck? My sister is 6 years older than me and my twin. When we were 5ish she told us she was secretly a witch and she needed to eat children to survive. I thought you meant the same sister was both 6 years older and your twin, haha. The red lights from cell towers. They always looked so scary at night. Especially on a foggy night when you can kinda see them. Quicksand. I thought it was going to be a huge problem. I used to avoid soft mushy mud. I've yet to quickly sink in sand. Santa Claus. Nothing scary than a old man coming down the chimney of little kids and giving the back quote presents. I was afraid of grass for a long time, but particularly male clover. I don't know why. Edit. Can't find a picture of male clover, but they were thin strands of bumps with like little seeds you could rip off effortless. Not harmful plants at all. Thought a huge human-sized panda was waiting for me up the stairs of this 2-story apartment. My aunt lived on the bottom floor where the entrance was. I was like 4, but whenever we walked past I got a bad feeling. Aren't pandas bigger than people? Also your fear isn't too bad. They've killed people. Yeah, you're right. I've been watching too many baby panda videos, but I pictured them walking like a human and taking me lol. Michael Jackson. My sister told me he was a demon. The Thriller video fucked up a generation. Michael Jackson also fucked a generation. My brothers convinced me that Jaws and other sharks would be attracted to my red life jacket and made me terrified of jumping into the water of a freshwater lake. At first glance I thought you were gonna say that you were scared of Jews. When I lock the toilet cabinet won't open anymore and I have to stay there forever. Haven't done it until middle school, and yes, that leads to many embarrassing moments. Used to have the same fear. Once when I was little, I locked myself in a bathroom in an embassy to take a dump. Little did I know that the lock was stiff, so when I went to open it I couldn't. I was scared shitless until my dad came and unlocked the door from the outside. After that I was scared to lock the door for a few years, so I pretty much never did. Then I became a strong boy and realized that I could easily open it. I was afraid of Charlie Chaplin. All his movies used to creep me out. Just seeing his pic for some reason filled me with fear. I was scared my poop would somehow come out the small gap between the toilet and the seat, so I used to poop with my legs sticking out straight so it wouldn't get on me. Physics was never going to be a strong suit for me. I was afraid I could kill people with my thoughts, apropos of nothing, except maybe my mildly Catholic upbringing. I decided if I didn't pray every night to every religious figure I could think of, I had a really long list I'd memorized. Oh my god, I was so neurotic. Somehow the universe would know, and my loved ones would die. I was about 7. It was around the time where you make first confession and communion. So I guess I'd caught religion. I got over it after about a year. Tapeworms. As a child, I asked my parents why it was so itchy down there. After learning the horrific truth, I was so terrified that I held in a mega doochie for hours. The most painful screening of Air Force One I have ever had the displeasure of enduring. Thanks for watching, like and subscribe.